Hi everyone, you've guessed it. Today I'm using my marble. I'm not losing my marble, I'm using my marble to create today's painting. So I'm using 3 metallics along with a black and a white. I'm going to puddle those colours onto my canvas and then I'm going to use my marble, I didn't drop it, on the canvas to infuse those colours together. So the marble's going to travel from one puddle to another because I'm going to pick the canvas up, tilt it around and let that marble travel within all those puddles to create some lines. And then when I've finished with that, I'm going to just remove the marble. I normally just drop it off to the table. And then as I open up the creation, it opens up those lines on the canvas. So you get areas of block colour and then some areas of interesting pattern. Well, that's the idea anyway. That's what I really want to do today. So I'm going to take you down to see the canvas. I'll let you see all the colours, the brands that I'm using, and I'll talk about my consistencies and ratios as well. I'll also drop those in the description box, so just expand that if you'd like some more information. But for now, let's use the marble and let's get painting. So let's see what we can create. Okay, so here are my brands of paint with my marble. So I'm using Pebbio's Iridescent Copper, Iridescent Gold and Iridescent Silver. I'm also using 2 colours by Amsterdam, that's Lamp Black and Titanium White. And I'm going to puddle those colours on the canvas and then I'm going to use my marble to wreck those puddles and create some really interesting lines. Let me show you the consistencies now. So here are my paints already mixed. There's pouring medium and water in each one. I'm using a combination of a 1 part paint, 1 part water, 3 parts pouring medium as my ratios. You'll see that it trickles off the spatula into the cup and then disappears. Let me do it on the black so you can maybe see that a bit more clearly. Off the spatula and then just disappears. So that's the kind of consistency that we're looking for. So a puddle pour with my marble. I'm really excited. Let's go. So the first part of the process is taking the paints and puddling them on the canvas. I'm going to start with my gold and then I'm going to use my other metallics, my silver and my copper, along with the black and the white. And I'm just doing random puddles on the canvas, but I'm using 1 colour at a time. I'm focusing the paint in the middle area of the canvas because when I drop the marble in and start stretching it, that paint's going to move across that surface area. But I'll show you that part of the process shortly. But this really is about focusing on adding those puddles onto the canvas, 1 colour at a time. I'm just using my torch now to pop any air bubbles. Because I mix my own paint with water and pouring medium, by mixing them and adding air will create those air bubbles. So I just use my torch to just pop those air bubbles as we go. I feel like I need a little bit more volume of paint on the canvas, so I'm just going to add a few more puddles before we continue with the process. Okay, so the fun part. So where shall we place the marble? Okay, so I'm just going to place the marble in this puddle here. I've started off in the black and I pick my canvas up and I just tilt the marble from side to side. You'll see the marble travelling from one puddle of paint to another. And as it travels, the marble itself drags that paint from one puddle to another. It helps with the mixing process, but you'll see as that marble travels across the canvas, because I'm tilting it from side to side, it's creating some really interesting lines, and it'll create those lines as it goes from one puddle to another. So that's enough of the marble. Just drop the marble off onto the table, and you can see here the pattern that that marble has created with all those lines, with all those colours together. So now it's about taking the volume of paint that I've already got on my canvas. I've got enough paint on my canvas to start opening up the pattern and the design. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to spread that paint across the surface area of the canvas. I'll tilt the canvas from side to side, turning the canvas when I need to help with that flow and direction of paint. And then once I've got good coverage on top, I'll start to push the paint over the edges, to the corners and down the sides. I'll then bring the paint back on itself to ensure that I'm working with the volume of paint that I've already got on the canvas. And then I'll look at the composition as we start tilting. This really is about taking your time, having a look at the lines as they expand and as they spread across that surface area, because you're tilting the paint in a certain direction. It's looking at that block colour and all those lines that were created using the marble. And sometimes it's about just placing the canvas back on the table, taking a good look at the pattern that's being created on top, and then tweaking that pattern and the composition by tilting the canvas in an alternative direction, ensuring that the paint is spreading across that surface area to each of those corners and down the side. If you're having fun, if you feel that you're learning something from me, then please give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, share it out. By doing that really helps me reach new people across YouTube who might not yet be aware of my channel, and they may be interested to watch along too. So thank you so much in advance for doing that. So this final stage really is about tweaking the pattern that's on top, pushing the paint down the edges, and once you're happy with the design, letting it settle and letting it dry. I just want to do a couple more tweaks. I really want certain colours to take prominence, and I really want some of those lines to open up more. So I do that by just tilting off a little bit more of that paint from that surface area on top and pushing it down the edges. So once this is done, I'm going to place it on my table. I will collect all the drops off the edges just to tidy up my edges, and I'll take you in now for a close-up of the wet version. And of course, I will place this to one side, let it dry, and I'll show you the final result shortly. And here's the dried version, and I'm so happy with it. I love that copper really does take the prominent colour over the metallics. I think I've kind of subconsciously always favoured gold in the past, but it's now time for the copper to really shine through. So that's what I'm playing with at the moment, especially when I'm using my metallic paints. And using that marble has created some really interesting lines. Some of those lines are really close together, so that's where that marble's gone over and over again in a certain area. And then there's larger areas like this one with block colour, with just some subtle lines running through. I'm so happy with this final version. Let me know if you're going to try something similar. Let me know what colour palettes you'd like me to use too, and what you're working on. Just drop that in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. But a big thank you to each and every one of you for all of your support. I really do appreciate it, and I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Have a great week ahead. I'll leave you with some more of these details, and don't forget to check out the description box where I list all of my brands of paint, ratios and consistencies. Have a great week ahead everyone. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.